Hello friends! I don't know what came over me, but I bought new fabrics. Usually I would always use something secondhand for my projects, whether it is old clothing or something I picked up from a charity shop, but when I was in Spotlight the other day with a friend, there was a sale on all their fat quarters and I was super inspired when I found these gorgeous patterns. They are shiny and magical, and in a moment of weakness I bought them, and now here we are making epic galaxy bunnies. I regret nothing. Let's go! For this project, alongside my new fabrics, I will be using a pencil, fabric scissors, pins and needles, some threads in relevant colours, some stuffing, and my faithful plushie templates. I then raided my old jewellery collection for some suitable charms and accessories to equip the plushies for their intergalactic adventures. As always, I'm not entirely sure if I'll use all of them yet, but options are good. I began by making toast. Then I took each of my fabrics in turn and drew around my templates onto the reverse side of it. I am going to make two bunnies, and I'm using the plainer fabrics for the heads and the patterned fabrics for the bodies. My template is a cat, so I just took the shape of the head and then drew the ears from scratch. I then cut out a strip of the materials twice the size of my shape so that I can fold it over and double it up, keeping the nice side of the fabric on the inside. I then pinned the two sides together to hold everything in place for sewing. I'm going to backstitch around the drawn line, leaving a gap where the neck will be. Sewing these by hand takes a while, so I went and did that off camera. I repeated the process with all four pieces, and here's what they look like with the sewing done. Now I can go ahead and cut round my stitching with my fabric scissors. I stay pretty close to my stitching, but I leave a little more material at the neck part to make attaching the two pieces of the plush together easier. After cutting them out, I'm going to turn the pieces back the right way. I usually find it easiest to use the end of a pencil to push the edges out. The next stage is to stuff all the pieces, and for the ears and limbs I am working with small pieces of stuffing at a time, using the pencil to feed this in and making sure everything is adequately stuffed. Now I need to attach the heads to the bodies, so I'm using some lavender thread. I first stitch across the front of the neck and then around along the back, and I normally repeat this process, so stitching each side twice. Now my plushies are ready for me to add a bit of personality. I want there to be a certain amount of continuity between the bunnies because I feel like they're partners, so I've chosen some button eyes, one of which is shiny, and the other I want to be like an eyepiece that allows them to see through multiple dimensions of time and space. Useful. Here they are with the eyes attached, and now I'm going to concentrate on this plush for a while. He's going to be the warrior of the two, so we're going to give him some armour and weapons. The first thing I'm going to do is put these super shiny space epaulets onto his shoulders. Very nice. Following that, I'm adding a sword to his hand, and I'm using a little silver key and some invisible thread to do that. Quilting thread is so fiddly and hard to work with, but sometimes it's worth using. Next, I'm going to make some sort of belt with this shiny necklace. I left the front loose and stitched mainly at the sides and along the back. And then I'm going to clip on these throwing stars, which he can hurl at any space monsters that dare to take him on. Next, I want to use this hair clip as a shield strapped to his back. As I tried to attach it, it broke in my hand. Yes, I remember now why this is in my broken jewellery collection. I managed to fix it up and clip it onto the back of the plush. And now this character is complete and we can move on to his friend. For this next bunny, I'm going to attach the same shoulder pieces, again just to bring a bit of connection between the characters. His and hers matching space armour. Adorable. She is also going to have a similar belt, a little more embellished this time. I imagine the larger beads to be the pots where she can store medicines and healing balms. Once I've attached that, I'm also adding some bottles to contain her healing potions. At this point, I gave away my camera tripod to a friend who needed it. Sad times, but we're nearly done. The next step for this character was to add a backpack filled with ingredients. I also used this idea back when I made Kick the PJ into a plush, and I thought it would work well for this one as well. After that, both my plushies were complete, so let's run through their features. The warrior plush has his sword with a fair amount of movement, his throwing stars are detachable, and he also has a detachable shield on his back. To the second plush, I added a detachable arm piece, which I imagine to be her radio or communication device, but it doubles up as a ring that you can wear. The potion bottles on her belt can be switched from full to empty and back again. Probably my favourite feature ever. And she also has her beautiful backpack on her back, full of magical moon rocks, ready to be ground into her next healing recipe. Both plushes, of course, also have their awesome eyepieces. Overall, I am so happy with how these two turned out. I think they look pretty awesome and ready for adventure. I will be putting them in my Etsy store when I actually get round to opening an Etsy store. If you would like to see that happen, then please leave a comment to motivate me to do it sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe to my channel for more, and I will see you next time. Bye!